The man at the apex of the sub-region's banking pyramid, Eccb Governor Timothy Antoine, is in Saint Lucia as part of the central bank's country outreach visits. The central bank's governor and his top-tier team are scheduled to meet with leading government officials, the private sector and social partners. In his sit-down with reporters Tuesday, Antoine was questioned on the outlook for Saint Lucia's economy, given the plans for some significant infrastructural projects ahead of the general elections.
Look at the projection. The growth is very promising, but a lot depends on the actual implementation of big projects. If there are delays, the growth will be lower. Natural disasters, climatic effects. If those happen, God forbid, those will have an effect. Global developments of which some of which we are monitoring and some could emerge, those could have an effect. So those are the things which potentially can have an effect on the growth trajectory.
The Eccb governor noted that while there are many factors outside the control of the government that can have a great impact on the completion and viability of its proposed projects, Saint Lucia and the currency union as a whole must seek to take charge of the factors within their control.
Growth will be higher in Saint Lucia and in the currency union if we did certain structural reforms, if we passed the credit bureau, if we brought about additional skills, if we had more renewables in our electricity mix. If you look at the electricity mix of Saint Lucia, renewables is very low. That has a direct, not just on the carbon emissions and our footprint, but on the cost of doing business, both at the household level and at the level of the business. If you want to improve growth, you have to lower those costs. So when we argue for more renewables in the energy mix, we are actually arguing not just for the environment, but for business, for jobs, for economic activity.
Antoine says despite the large percentage of unemployed youth, there are some very promising areas that can create thousands of well-paid jobs for young persons.
The irony is that you will see high unemployment in this country and throughout the currency union and still not be able to find a plumber, a really good plumber when you need. You still have certain technical skills that you cannot find. So there are some real opportunities for young people in the area of coding where you can make a good income, $2,000 for example, per month, if you are trained, and that training can take less than a year. That is something we want to see more of. And I recently heard that Saint Lucia is moving into a plant with artificial intelligence for young people. I was really happy to hear that, because those will create job opportunities, and not just any opportunities, good jobs.
Since assuming the role of the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank Governor, Antoine and his team have introduced a new approach in relating to member states of the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union, one characterized by a greater openness as well as the adoption of the latest technologies, particularly in the digital field. Saint Lucian for the HTS News Force.